Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Real Sports Updates here, back again with another video. Before I get started, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel. More content coming out. I'm gonna try to be dropping a video every day. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, but definitely gonna try. Definitely gonna get into some topics that I wouldn't normally be able to get into during football season with all of the news going on and whatnot. But let's get into it. You see the title, you see the thumbnail. ShaCarri Richardson needs to cut the shit out, basically, pretty much. And some people might disagree with me, and they might disagree with the premise of this video, but, I really don't care. And, I just got to call it as I see it. So basically, just to break it down, and just to be completely honest with you, I'm not watching the Winter Olympics. I never have. I probably never will. I really don't know what's going on there as far as, details going, but I do have the general gist of a story. I guess there's this Russian figure skater, 15-year-old, do not know her name. I guess she tested positive for some type of performance-enhancing drug, potentially performance-enhancing. I'm not sure what it is. It's some type of heart medication that does something to produce more red blood cells, something of the sort. I guess she tested positive for it, and I guess the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, I guess they approved her taking the drug for some reason, or I don't know. I didn't do a whole lot of research into it. I'll just be honest with you, because it's not really, this video, in my opinion, is not really about her. The Russian figure skater. It's not geared towards her. I don't know her. I don't, like I said, I don't pay attention to the Winter Olympics, figure skating, all of that, things of that nature. I just know that ShaCarri Richardson used this young woman's situation to basically trying to draw a parallel to her situation, and claim that she was being, I guess, discriminated against. Basically because she was black, because we all know the story in the summertime last summer before the Olympics. She tested positive for marijuana, and marijuana's on one of the banned. It's a banned substance, so it's on the list of banned substances that the potential Olympic athletes cannot use. So she tested positive, and her punishment was her not being able to compete in the Summer Olympics. And now she is drawing this, completely separate and completely unrelated situation with this Russian figure skater. She's using it to try to draw a parallel and basically say that the IOC is racist, and that, it's because of her skin color that she wasn't able to participate in this, in the Olympic Games or whatever. And I'm just here to call bullshit on that. ShaCarri Richardson needs to take responsibility. She needs to take accountability for her own actions. She admitted that she, smoked weed, very closely around the time when the Olympics were there. So she did this, she did it to herself, and there's nobody else to blame but herself for this. But for her to still, hold on, let me straighten this out a little bit. All right. So for her to continue this and to carry this on, to carry, a situation that happened last summer, for her to carry this on into 2022, and try to draw a parallel between this is ridiculous. And, everybody who has a functioning brain, everybody who can, call a spade can see that this is all bullshit. And just like the caption that I used on the thumbnail, she deserves a gold medal in the Victim Olympics, because she is using this situation to victimize herself, to basically try to say that, hey, I'm innocent here and I am being persecuted because of the color of my skin, which is bullshit. And again, this is the newer generation of African Americans, really younger African Americans, African American men and women, who make mistakes in their lives. do not, they find a way to completely dodge accountability for their own actions. They completely find a way to just dodge all the responsibility that they had in making their life harder. And they completely just go out in left field and just blame everything on race, as if black people don't make mistakes too, which is very, very irritating to me as a black man, you know, as a grown 31-year-old black man. You know, we've all made mistakes. I've made my mistakes, but you know, I can say that most of, if not all, of the mistakes that I have made in my life have been self-inflicted. Like, it's things that I've done wrong. It's decisions that I made that put me in a tougher situation than I should have been in. You know, it's because of me. I can't put that on anybody else. I can't put that on the color of my skin. I can't put it on anybody else. It's decisions that I made. You know, and some of those decisions, you know, held me back from, you know, further advancing, you know, in life, in business, whatever the case is. But those are decisions that I made, conscious decisions that I made. And you know, it sucks, but part of being an adult is you coming to grips with the mistakes that you made, being able to sit down, reflect, think about them, think about what you did wrong, and ultimately improving and not making the same mistake again, over and over and over again. But that's how it should be as an adult, a grown, accountable adult, and a grown, you know, successful member of the society that we live in. Like, these are our mistakes. We have to recognize that, and we have to, you know, come to grips with it. You know, it is what it is, right? You know, everybody hopes to live a long life, and you know, the mistakes that you make when you're young are things that you can look back on, you know, when you're older, you know, and kind of laugh at and just say, you know, this is what, you know, this is what I did, and this is how I learned from it, you know. So these can be looked at as you know, stepping stones, you know, like to base your future behavior off of, and the things that you've learned, and you know, the hard times that you had or whatever. But you know, it's frustrating to me that there are, and I'm just speaking for my community, the black community, there are a lot of young men and women who do not take responsibility for their actions. And everything is not race-based. Everything is not based on your race. If you do something, you know, that you shouldn't have done, you know, it's up to you as an adult to know what you should be doing, what requirements you have to adhere to, you know, if there's something that you want to do. You know, in her case, she wanted to run in the summer games. And one of the requirements is not being on anything, you know, steroids or anything, but marijuana as well, too. Now, you know, and I've seen a lot of people say, oh, it's not a performance-enhancing drug, it's not this, it's not that, whatever. Like, and all of that stuff is valid, right? It's valid. It's not, what they're, you know, saying about it is not wrong, but at the end of the day, this is a requirement that has to be met in order for you to compete in the Olympic Games. And if you do not meet the requirement, you will not participate. And that's what happened to her. And she, you know, she griped and whined about it all on social media and posted all this stuff, whatever. But she did not run. They were not playing any games. And I think this is one of the toughest lessons that people in my generation and the generation, you know, that came after me, this is going to be one of the hardest lessons that they learn. People are not playing games. You cannot do whatever you want to do and expect, you know, to you know, be able to participate and everything. You just cannot do it. There are rules in place. There's businesses, you know, there's different, you know, different rules for different industries that you have to adhere to if you want to participate and ultimately succeed, right? Make money, you know, whatever it is that you want to do. There's things that you have to do. And if you don't do them, you're not going to participate. And I think this generation, and like I said, the generation that came after me, a lot of these people are going to learn the hard way, and it's gonna sting for them. But ultimately, they are going to have to make decisions in their lives. The International Olympic Committee they're fine. The Olympics are going to be fine without ShaCarri Richardson there. They were fine in the summer, and they'll be fine again, you know, in 3 years in the summer. They'll be fine. They'll be fine without her. She is the one who has to make the decision in her life to put all the excuses aside, put on your big girl drawers, pull them up, and get to work and do what's required of you. And if you don't do it, then you don't do it. And, you know, if it's fine, you know, there's some people who can't do that, and they go on to, you know, start their own businesses, or, you know, start their own, you know, their own industries of whatever it is, because there are certain rules that they feel are unfair and don't want to adhere to, and they go out and start their own thing, and which is, you know, completely, you know, that's completely like a boss move, you know, if you're able to do that. If you have the wherewithal, if you have the intelligence to do stuff like that, you know, that all power to you. But if you want to participate in these things, you know, you're going to have to adhere to rules, and you're not going to be able to just do whatever you want. It's I know that it sucks. I understand that, and I've been in a position where ShaCarri Richardson is, so I can speak from experience. But it is not like the more you buck and the more you complain and all this stuff, you are just setting yourself up for a colossal fall. And, you know, now, you know, this modern era, you know, you have social media. So now she has, you know, I don't know however many followers she has on social media, but, you know, she got pretty big. So I would imagine she probably has, I don't know, at least 500,000 followers between both, maybe possibly even more. But, I mean, let's just say she has 1 million followers between all her social media pages. Now you have 1 million enablers who are telling you, yeah, you're right, yeah, you're right, yeah, you're right. And she keeps hearing that from all of these, you know, people who she doesn't know, but they're fans of her, and they're people that support her, and they support her sentiments. So now she's got all of this backing, which is, you know, it's false to begin with, because it's social media and it's not a real place, right? Word to Dave Chappelle, it is not a real place. Twitter is not a real place. But she has all this backing, so now she is feeling even more validated in her stance that she's in right now. So now she goes and she's just firing off all these tweets and all this stuff now, and it's just like, she clearly hasn't learned. But I mean, the way that it's going now, especially with social media, everybody having a quote-unquote voice, you know, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to hit rock bottom until they decide that they are, you know, going to meet the requirements, whatever it is, to participate in certain things. And it sucks that it has to be this way, but this generation seems to be a little, you know, a little hard-headed and you know, a little, you know, out for themselves, and not, you know, not really trying to follow rules and whatnot, and all of this stuff. The similar situation with Colin Kaepernick, when nobody talks about it, but he had a job with the Baltimore Ravens. I believe they were going to sign him. I think it was in 2017. I think it was in the summer of 2017, or right before the season was going to start in 2017. And before they ended up signing him, he ended up posting a meme from the Django Unchained movie with Samuel Jackson and Leonardo DiCaprio. And the meme was basically comparing the Ravens owner Bisciotti to the you know, the slave owner that Leonardo DiCaprio played in the movie. And, you know, to no one's surprise, he did not get signed, right? They pulled the offer off the table because Colin Kaepernick, he, you know, pretty much, you know, compared Bisciotti to a slave owner, which is insulting to do in today's times, right? It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on or whatever. It's insulting to, you know, put that on somebody now, especially someone who you don't know, right? And he didn't get the job, and a lot of people still complain now that Kaepernick was blackballed from the league and all of this stuff, but was he really, though? I mean, you cannot do that. Like, I want to know. I want somebody to show me what job they work at, where they can go in to their job, right, and basically do what Colin Kaepernick did, go in and compare their boss, supervisor, whoever their whoever the person is that's ranked above them, go in and compare them to a slave owner and see if you have a job still. You cannot do that in any industry. The only way you can do that is if you're working for yourself, right? If you are working for yourself, if you're making enough money to support yourself and your family and stuff like that, you can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want for the most part in today's society, for the most part. But if you want to work for a corporation, a big organization like the NFL, you're going to have to adhere to some standards, and you're not going to be going around comparing team owners to slave owners and think that you're going to have a job. It's just not going to happen. It's not practical. And people need to understand this. Younger people need to understand this. Younger black people need to understand this. Do what you have to do to feed your family. Do what you have to do to keep food on the table. Do what you have to do to keep the lights on in your house, right? To pay your mortgage, to pay your car payments, whatever, and all that stuff. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like whatever rules are going on. You can talk as much shit as you want to. You can, you can just let loose on the weekends. You can do whatever you want to do. But when you are working, there are rules that you have to follow. And if you don't follow them, you won't be working for that company. Or you won't be, running the Olympics like ShaCarri Richardson. You just won't do it. It's not going to happen for you. And the more you buck and the more you complain about it and all that stuff, it's not going anywhere. These companies have, and I think this is what a lot of people don't understand when they start saying, oh, this is race related and all that stuff, whatever. It is, if you go in and if say somebody wants to take this seriously, what you said and all that stuff, it is on you. It is on you. It's on you, young black man. It's on you, young black women, to go and prove, that everything that's happening to me is all race-based. So that means you have to cross all your T's and dot all your I's. That means you have to be the best worker that there is in whatever industry it is that you work in order to prove that this is something race related. You can't have any red marks on your, nope, you can't have any of that. You have to be the best, and it's on you. The onus is on you to prove that everything that's going on is racist. So if you're going to go that route, you have to prove that, and you have to be the best. So again, if you're not going to adhere to whatever rules that are set forth, whatever requirements that have to be met, just stay home. You're better off staying home and moving into something that moving into something that that you can do with that doesn't require as much from you, or just start your own business, do your own thing, whatever, find your own way. But this is the rebelliousness, just to be rebellious, and the corporate stuff. It doesn't mix. It doesn't mix. It never has mixed, and it never will mix. And it doesn't matter who tells you what or who's gassing you up because of your race and because you're black and because this and that, and no, it's not. It's not going to work. The victim Olympic stuff does not work. And people need to realize this. Like, it's not going to turn out the way that you want it to turn out. And ShaCarri Richardson is the perfect example. Things are not going her way. She's getting all the support in the world, but things are not going her way. And you know what? If she decides to smoke again before the next Summer Olympics and she tests positive, they are going to sit her ass out again. They don't give a damn about what y'all got to say on Twitter. They don't give a damn. They don't give a shit. They don't care, because that is in their rules. That's in their rules. So hey. And if she says, hey, they're doing this to me because I'm racist or because they're racist and I'm black and all this stuff, whatever. I watched some of the track and field in the summer games. It was all black women out there running. So it's all black women out there running. And they're all running because they did not test positive for marijuana. If any one of, I can't even, maybe 50 to 60 black women out there for different, various different events. If any of the 50 or 60 other black women tested positive, they wouldn't have been running either. But there's so many women out there who, did not test positive, did not do what you did. She was literally the only one. So for her to be on this crusade, that she's being done wrong and all this stuff, where there was black women running. Black women won gold. The whole summer games, they won gold. So, you know, you really don't have much, and she doesn't have much. She doesn't have much. She doesn't have anything at all. It was her fault. She needs to take responsibility. She needs to be accountable for her own actions. And at the end of the day, the world doesn't owe her anything. The IOC doesn't owe her anything. Nobody owes her anything. The other girls running in the Olympics, they don't owe her anything either. She's on her own with this. Her and her fans and, you know, the people who write the think pieces and, you know, the fluff articles praising her and all that stuff, they're on their own. They're on their own, and they hold no power. And I think that is ultimately what is going to bring her down to earth, is when she realizes that she holds no power. And, you know, she's still clearly not over this. She can go into, she's still young. She could probably go into her 30s talking the same shit about, you know, her being done wrong by the IOC or whatever. And the IOC was not going to give two shits. They're still going to do what they do. They're still going to conduct the games, and she just won't be a part of it. And I think she needs to understand that. The Olympics are going to go on with or without her. And she needs to understand this. She needs to internalize it, and she needs to really, really think about it before she starts going off on these tirades. Because it is not, it's not becoming of her, and it's not becoming of you know, all of the sacrifice that she has put forward to even, you know, be in a position to compete in the Olympic Games. It's just stupid for her to throw it all away and then to try to argue about it afterwards. But, you know, it is what it is. This generation is going to learn the hard way. A lot of these people are going to be brought down off their high horses. You know, and at this point, what can you do, right? It is what it is. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how this story, you know, continues to evolve. How she's going to continually be in the news and whatnot. But, you know, I just thought that it was very interesting. And I had to come on here and give my opinion. You know, I'm sick of the victim Olympics. I'm sick of people victimizing themselves over situations that they created. Nobody else created them for, you know, nobody else created that hard situation. Nobody put a blunt in her mouth. Nobody told her to take an edible. She created this situation on her own. ShaCarri Richardson is responsible for herself. She's responsible for everything that she puts into her body. And she's responsible for herself. You know, when she goes and gets tested and, you know, if she comes up positive, she's the one who put the substance in her body. Nobody else forced her to do it. She did it. And, you know, you have to take responsibility for it. And in whichever way that manifests itself, right? Whether it's a suspension, a fine, whatever it is, you have to be responsible for it. You have to be a grown-up here. And, you know, the victim Olympics is not going to pay off, right? That's not the Olympics that she wants to run in. She wants to run in the regular Olympics, not the victim Olympics. So it's going to be interesting to see how this story goes. I mean, I know how it's going to turn out. The IOC ain't going to change shit. They ain't going to do anything differently. They're going to continue doing what they do. And they're going to continue to put on games, winter and summer games. And like I said, ShaCarri Richardson is, you know, she is who she is, right? The Olympics is going to go on without her. You know, and it'll go off without a hitch without her. So if she wants to compete, she's going to have to adhere to what they're asking for, or she can go sit down somewhere else. It's just as simple as that. There's really no in between. And, you know, for her to continue doing this, I think is very, very ridiculous. And it, quite honestly, is disappointing to, you know, a grown African-American man who has made his fair share of mistakes, but also recognizes that most of those mistakes were created by me and nobody else. It's disappointing to see her at this point right now. Hopefully, you know, she has somebody she can talk to. Hopefully somebody can get to her and let her know that this is a situation she created all on her own. Nobody else was responsible for creating the situation, just her. But you know, we'll see what happens going forward. Like I said, all of this stuff is, people are going to keep whining, they're going to keep complaining, they're going to keep bitching about it. You're going to keep seeing articles, and you're going to keep seeing think pieces, and you're going to keep seeing a lot of things being brought up, you know, regarding race and all that stuff. All of it is bullshit. She failed her drug test. She can't compete, and that's it. That's all it is. You can't compete. You smoke weed, you can't compete. They've already set this for, these are the rules. If you smoke, you will not run. It is what it is, right? That's all I got for today, guys. Have a good night.